Imagine staying calm, centered, and in control no matter what life throws at you. What if nothing can shake you? Where's this opening? There you go. We're going live.
No.
We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
It's Frame Friday, boys and girls. You know who has almost finished writing a book about frame? Raith Deantor. You might know him from the Dragon Ship, or if you've ever done any work in MLD's Masculine Empowerment Network. Raith wrote a book in Thor's Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series under the psychology skill set, and it's all about frame. He gave me his manuscript, and I'm really digging it so far. He's really getting into stoicism and how applying stoic philosophy can really strengthen your frame. It's way different than Ryan Stone's book, and gives quite a different perspective. And that one should be coming out in the next few weeks, shortly after my Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence comes out on the 14th. Hold on. I don't have Telegram closed. Okay, there we go. I've got Beer Club chatting in there. You guys, always in there. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, my book, it's a part of the Skills of a Masculine Presence. It comes out on the 14th. Mine's all about paradigms and reprogramming them to develop a more dominant masculine presence. And I'll mention that again in a little bit. But today, we are going to be talking about Dr. Wayne Dyer's 10 success or intention principles, and how if you embody these, it can really do a lot to make your frame completely unshakable. Okay. And the first time I heard of frame, it was in Corey Wayne's book, actually. It was in Corey Wayne's book, How to Be a 3% Man, but he didn't call it frame, right? He said, you have to be centered. Like as a man, you have to be centered. And he tells the story in the book about a boat in the ocean. You know, staying centered means like you're on a boat, you're in the ocean, and a woman's emotions are like the ocean itself, like waves crashing down sometimes. And when you're dealing with women, she's going to try to capsize you, do whatever it can. And you need to keep that boat afloat and going on your course, right? You need to be on your mission. And if she can manage to capsize you with her emotional storm, then you got to be bailing the water out. You know, you got to try to get that boat back upright. That's super impossible when you're swimming in the ocean and you're trying to get that boat back upright. And then once you finally do, she's not going to trust you to captain that boat again. So you gotta have unshakable frame. You got to make sure that you always keep that boat afloat. You don't let her capsize you, right? And you have full control over that. And it's all up here. It's all in your mindset. But you got to strengthen that, right? We don't want our boats capsized. So we're going to work on that today. But first, let me give some shout outs here. We've got Brother Omega, member and Beer Club member. He says, Beer Club. I'm going to give you this one today.
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
Yeah. We got Brother Nathan. He says, let's go Friday. Yes, let's indeed go Friday.
Here he is, biggest swinging dick in the West.
And we've got, let's see here. These guys are all members. That's why I'm giving them all shout outs here. We got Nurse Chick in the house. She gets this one.
So naughty.
Yeah, she is. And Brother CW, time to stiffen the frame. Time to stiffen the frame. Morning, gents and Nurse Chick. Yeah, I'm going to give him, well, I can't say that one, but we're going to, well, you know what? I did this guy F's already, right? We're already demonetized. You guys might as well start sending some super chats, but I'm going to give him this
Walk
one.
into the club like, what up? I got a big cock.
Yeah. Dodger's in the house. Hey, what's up, Dodger? Kamal's here. Let's see here. Paul's been down to the clothing store at the cow pasture. You know what? I've had this shirt for a while. My collared shirts, those are all pretty new, though. Those are all pretty new. I gotta be more professional now. You know, I'm taking things seriously now, but I'm gonna give him, let's see here. This one.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being channel members. I appreciate you. We beat the goal, right? But the goal was 10 channel members in 30 days. We have like 11 now, but it would be cool if we go to 20. Otherwise, Tuesday's call-in show is going to be pretty light. It's going to be pretty light. But you know what? For members, I am having call-in shows. So if you do have something you want addressed, you have questions, you want to pick my brain. I have people that just want to like a call to just pick my brain and stuff. And it's like, you can't afford me, man. Like my hour rate is pretty expensive, but if you become a channel member, it's only $3 a month and you can call in on a Tuesday. So yeah, anyway, before we get into all this frame stuff and Dr. Wayne Dyer stuff, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like clockwork. Please sound off in the chat today, okay? If you're watching live right now, don't be a wallflower. Participate. I want to hear your thoughts on some of these things. And so Dr. Wayne Dyer, he's well known for law of attraction type stuff. We're going to try to keep the woo-woo out of it, but one of these is kind of woo-woo. But because it's not Woo Woo Wednesday, we're not going to go full woo woo today, okay? But if anything I say in any of this doesn't make sense or you disagree with it, sound off in the chat, okay? That's fine. And do please send super chats. I did start the sound bites a little too early before the 8-minute mark. We are going to get the yellow dollar sign on the back end on YouTube. So, and then. Like I mentioned before, do consider becoming a channel subscriber because you too can help other men in need. Every single hour, men struggle in silence. Men who are facing rejection, confusion, and the pain of feeling lost in relationships. Thousands of men have found the support they needed, but for many others, help comes too late. Hi, I'm Paul Bauer. Will you be a supporter for men in need? Every day, men like you face challenges of dating, holding frame, and breaking free from nice guy syndrome. But you don't have to face these struggles alone. For just $2.99 a month, that's only 10 cents a day. You can join my YouTube membership or become a Spotify subscriber, and you can help keep this podcast alive. Your support ensures that I can continue to create content that helps men just like you. I can continue to help men overcome these challenges. By joining now, you're not just getting access to all older archived episodes. You're helping me keep this mission going. Together, we can reach more men who need help, guidance, and support. Right now, there's a man who needs you, and your membership says, I'm here to help. Please join today. Your support is making a difference. Kamal says, Paul's been down to the clothing store at the cow pasture. Yeah, it's funny because we're talking about Wayne Dyer today, and I'll let you in on a little secret. When I was watching a video that he was going through all these to get ready for this, and but I was looking at it like a week ago because I needed a clip from that particular episode for one of my Woo Woo Wednesdays because he was talking about crystals in it, right, and like the placebo effect, and as I'm watching that, I'm looking at, I just happened to notice what he's wearing, and he's dressed relatively business casual. You know, he's got a collared shirt and a sweater on it. And I was like, I should probably start wearing more colored shirts for the show. I should probably do it, but I don't like dressing up. You know, I don't like wearing suits and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? It's time to, at least on the podcast, not wear the graphic tees. Although Nurse Chick loves it. Like Nurse Chick is loving the collared shirts, tuning in, and she's like, oh my God, like she keeps texting me, oh my God, that shirt's doing things for me. I think it's operant conditioning. She just wants me to get rid of the graphic tees. Ain't happening, babe. After the show, I'm taking this shit off. I'm putting on a fucking graphic tee. Okay, anyway. So we have Dr. Wayne Dyer has these 10 principles. And when I was getting ready for that episode the other day, I was listening to his 10 principles, and I was like, man, if you applied these things, man, that would give you some unshakable frame. And I had like a boo light bulb moment, and I was like, I'm going to do a Frame Friday based on his 10 principles. So we got them today, right? So the first principle here is have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. Have a mind that's open to everything and that's attached to nothing. And one of the examples that he gave in his talk was the example that a lot of people are offended super easily nowadays, right? And I think he gave this talk maybe 20 years ago. And I'm like, man, it's only gotten worse. How offended do people get, right? And a lot of people will point the finger over at liberals and be like, oh, those liberals are so offended. My mom calls me yesterday, and she's upset that the school district out here is talking about passing some kind of bill that makes it so that if your kid comes out comes out as being trans to their teacher, that the teacher doesn't have to call the parent, right? Like the school doesn't have to notify the parents. And my mom is like, and she's offended by this. Yes. And I tell my mom, I go, well, Mom, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I think I would notice if my kids are becoming trans, right? Like if my son's walking around with makeup and in high heels, I think something might be up, like I don't think I need a teacher to tell me that. Right. And if I do, I'm not doing my job, like, so I don't understand. Like, it's funny. People on both sides get offended by all sorts of stuff. Right. But if you have a mind that's sort of open to everything and attached to nothing, you're not necessarily attached to a particular idea and you'll get offended less. Right. If someone says something that you disagree with, you might go, that's an interesting perspective. I never thought about it that way before, right? Because if your mind's open to that or as a possibility, you might not even agree with it, but you might look at it like, oh, that's an interesting perspective. I think it was it Whisper or Wine More Please? One of those guys in the red pill space used to say that anything outside of your frame is either funny or interesting, right? That's having a mind that's sort of open to everything, but attached to nothing, if you think about it. So I have here that if your mind is open to everything and attached to nothing, you'll have more flexibility in thought, right? A man with an open mind is adaptable and can handle change without resistance. I mentioned Wraith's book earlier. One of the things that he's talking about in there is he quoted Charles Darwin. Now you might be a Christian, not really believe in the evolutionary theory. Honestly, Darwin's evolutionary theory is full of all sorts of holes, and Darwin's theory has become a religion of its own. It's kind of funny, but doesn't mean that the man didn't make some good points. And one of the things he said is that, I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of a species ability to survive is largely based on their ability to change, but if you're so rigid in your ways, you won't be able to change. You're inflexible, if you have a mind that's open to everything and attached to nothing, you won't have too many attachment to outcomes, right? And if you're not attached to outcomes, if you're detached from specific results, you can avoid frustration when things don't go as planned, right? One of the brothers at Beard Club, he's in the chat right now, but I'm not gonna mention his name. He was dating this girl for a while, and all of a sudden she starts pulling away. She's not available anymore. He asks her out. All of a sudden she's got to handle her cats and shit. Well, okay. Best of luck in your future endeavors. There's always another bus. You know what I mean? So if you're not attached to any particular outcome with any particular girl, nothing phases you, right? But a lot of us, we get into relationships, and let's say our relationship's starting to end, and we're thinking about it might be a divorce situation, or maybe we don't get that choice and she springs the divorce on us. Like, we get crushed by it because we're attached. We're mentally attached to the relationship. We have that ego investment in the relationship, and we're crushed by it. A lot of guys get zeroed out by it. A lot of guys end things, But if you aren't attached to that, if you're lovingly detached, she can come and go, and you're unfazed by it, you'll never get zeroed out. You'll be mentally unshakable, right? Buddha said that all human suffering is because of attachment. And I'm not talking about attachment theory. Attachment theory is nonsense, but I'm talking about just attachment in general, right? If you're overly attached to a certain idea, a certain thing, and that thing goes away, you're mentally crushed, right? But if you can learn to let go of that attachment to stuff, unshakable. Resilience to criticism. Being open to different viewpoints prevents taking criticism personally. Now, there is such thing as constructive criticism, and there's also some people are just being jerks. But I have this guy that works for me at my day job that shall not be named, and if I point out anything that he could do better, man, he gets overly defensive about it. And I always have to like talk him off a ledge and be like, bro, it's okay. I think you're doing a good job. It's all right. But this could be done better, So I'm not being a jerk about it. I'm giving you constructive criticism. If you can learn to be less defensive when someone gives you that constructive criticism. One of the Beer Club brothers this morning pointed out that my new ebook that came out is missing a whole sentence at the end. I'm like, all right, I'll fix it after the show. That's constructive criticism. It's helpful though, Emotional detachment. Non-attachment reduces the emotional toll of external events, helping to remain calm. That's one of the things that we got to learn in this space. If we want to have healthy relationships, honestly, is to learn to be a little more emotionally detached from the relationship. I say lovingly detached. I like to say that. But if you're lovingly detached, you're not so madly Twitter pated and in love that you're overlooking red flags. You're not, you're able to sort of be more responsive and less reactive when your girl's having one of her whammon moods, her mood swings, because women do that. You're able to sort of look at things a little more rationally if you try to detach emotionally a little bit and try to think of things a little more critically. It's not always easy, but it's something to work on. And then we have empowerment through acceptance, right? Openness allows us to see opportunities and obstacles, which strengthens our mental frame. So it's kind of like, if you lose a job, right? You lose a job. Some guys get zeroed out by losing a job. You can look at it like, oh, my life's over. That was the best job I ever had. How am I going to pay my bills? Or you can look at it like, well, I guess I have to, hit the ground running. I got to get the resume up to date, and I got to start looking for new opportunities, right? You got to look at it like it's a door for new opportunities. If you look at it differently, reframe that, you'll be a little more open, right? And a little less closed off, a little more unshakable. The next concept, the next principle is you can't give away what you don't have. All right. Dr. Wayne Dyer, what he was talking about is people that have a hard time in relationships, a hard time being affectionate, a hard time with love in general. It's usually because they don't love themselves, right? And you can't give away love if you don't have love from within already to give away, right? It's one of the things that he was saying. So one of the principles, the sub principles there is self-love and respect, right? To offer love, support, and strength, you must first cultivate these qualities within yourself. Okay. If you hate yourself, you're always talking negative about yourself, if you don't think very highly of yourself, how do you expect to give out, or project that type of love on others if you can't already do it to yourself? Think about that. Inner confidence. A man can only project confidence and leadership if he truly believes in himself. Why? So in relationship, one of the things I learned from Dr. Robert Glover in Dating Essentials for Men is setting the tone and taking the lead, which I talk about a lot. And I learned that from him. But if you don't believe in your ability to lead, you won't lead effectively. Why should she follow your lead if you don't believe in yourself to lead? You don't have that confidence in yourself. You're going to start deferring to her. You're going to start asking her what you should do and stuff. And then you're going to hand the car keys over to her, and she's never going to trust you to drive again. You see? So you got to develop that inner confidence and leadership abilities. A really good book on leadership, actually 2 really good books on leadership, is Extreme Ownership and The Dichotomy of Leadership, both by Jocko Willink. I quote from Extreme Ownership a lot in my upcoming book, the book that's coming out on the 14th. I have a whole chapter on leadership, and it's full of Jocko Willink in there. So when you get my new book, read it 10 to 15 times, you'll develop that inner confidence. Emotional fulfillment. If he lacks emotional stability, he cannot provide it to others, making self-mastery essential, right? If you're not in control of your emotions, it's funny because a lot of us in the space, we talk about, women don't care about your struggles. Save that stuff for your boys or your coach. A lot of guys don't have emotional stability. They cry too much because we're taught through society that we got to be emotionally vulnerable, right? We got to express our emotions. And so then when we say, hey, save that stuff for your boys or your coach, and you get the feminazis out there saying, oh, you're telling men to suppress emotions and that's killing men. It's like, no, we're not saying suppress. We're saying there's a time and a place, and you need to learn how to control your emotions. It's different. Learning how to control your emotions allows you to respond to things a little more rationally instead of reacting emotionally, right? And reacting to things emotionally, you're acting like a woman, and it's unattractive behavior. And if you're doing that in relationships, it's going to kill your relationship. Okay. Because it turns out that heterosexual women don't like dating other women. It's, they don't like being in relationships with other women like that. So if you start acting like a woman, she's going to start getting the ick about you. You see what I'm saying? So you got to learn you got to learn some of that emotional control. Okay. An abundance mindset. A man who feels abundant can contribute without fear of loss, reinforcing his unshakable frame. You know what's really good about having an abundance mindset? If you're in a relationship, you're not afraid of her leaving, because the thing is, a lot of guys, they get overly concerned that their wife's going to cheat on them. They get overly concerned that she's going to leave them and divorce them. And so they start acting differently. They start acting more clingy. They start acting more needy. They start suffocating her, and all that kind of stuff is pushing her away. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because of their fear of losing her. But if you have an abundance mindset, and you know that if she leaves, well, that's unfortunate. I can always get another girl. You're not so scared that she's going to leave. You're not so scared that she might cheat, right? If she cheats, she's done. Yeah. Okay. Well, you made your choice. Best of luck in your future endeavors. There's always another bus every 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So you you become a little more confident in who you are. You stop fearing that sort of thing. And the thing is you become a more secure person, which is more attractive, which will keep her around longer. It's funny how that works out, right? Like how we think about things changes our actions, and the way we act changes our results, you know? But a lot of guys, they don't have that abundance mindset because they've never experienced that abundance with women. And that starts on the dating circuit. I talk about that in my first book, right? The importance of spinning plates. When you spin plates and you're juggling multiple women, you realize it's not that hard to get women. That changes everything. It changes everything. And you're actually able to have a more healthy relationship if that's your goal. Because well, if this doesn't work out, yeah, I could always get another girl. And I also talk about it in my book from the long-term relationship chapter that there's no finish line. A lot of guys get into relationships thinking that they hit the finish line, and they stop doing all the attractive stuff that they did in the beginning. And then that attraction erodes over time because they're not being attractive. And then they wonder why their girls leave them. It's like, there's no finish line. The work never stops, And then we have personal growth, right? Focusing on self-development allows a man to become a source of wisdom and strength for others. When I started this journey back in 2020, it was early 2020. I started hyper reading all this stuff, started studying this stuff like a madman. I never stopped. I still try to listen to an audiobook a week if I can. I've been reading more paperbacks lately. I'm an avid reader now. Ever since then, and I never stopped. I keep that going. I never want to quit doing that because all that stuff keeps me sharp. And on top of that, what I find is I have a lot. I could relate and converse with more people because I'm like way more educated now. I know lots of different. I can speak on lots of different topics now, and all that kind of stuff. Becomes a source of wisdom and strength for others. Oh shoot! Look at this, brother Kamal with a 249 euros for your new collared shirt collection. Thanks, brother. I'm going to give you this because you are a beer club member and you're a YouTube member. You get this.
Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
I'm just reading the chat right now. Brother Omega says, damn, brother Nathan called me out in some not so positive self-talk yesterday. And then he says, let's see here. Kamal says, yeah, Nathan doesn't sugarcoat things. That's why we love him. And then Nathan says, yeah, he's not very tactful. He's sort of blunt. Man, he's been yelling at people lately in the beer club. We were talking about how, there's a red pill concept that relationships are game on hard mode, and brother Nathan starts yelling at everybody in the chat. Like, it's not game on hard mode. It's just a different type of game. Okay. You got to be the best. You got to be the best at what you do. And I'm like, wow, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Love you, Nathan. All right, guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. Look at this. Get on the email list, guys. List.comeonmanpod.com. Not only do you get free stickers, you also now get a new ebook that I just dropped last night called She's Made You Weak. It's all about the betatization process. It talks about how women, once you get into a relationship, will manipulate you into being her manservant. You have no idea she's even doing this. Most of you guys don't. Most of you guys don't know how to prevent this. And you end up sort of weak and deferring to her leadership, and she's lost all attraction. Now you're in a dead bedroom. Okay. But this will explain the process to you and show you how to prevent it. It's short 10-page read, but you get that for free when you go to list.comeonmanpod.com. I'll also mail you some stickers. If you don't want the stickers, just put don't want stickers in the address field. I won't waste a stamp on you. You also get, if you guys, for you single guys out there, you still get the 20 dating app openers that are guaranteed to capture a woman's attention in the first 7 words. And all of you guys get a free chapter from my book, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. If you go to books.comeonmanpod.com, you can order that one right now. It's available on Audible, Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. If you go to books.comeonmanpod.com right now too, you can pre-order my new book that's coming out on the 14th. The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm. Okay. It's all about what's your paradigm, how it controls your results in life, and how you can change those, and how to identify paradigms that don't serve you. Okay. So if you go to books.comeonmanpod.com, you can pre-order the Kindle edition for only 99 cents until the 14th. Then it's going to go up to $10. And then the paperback and the hardcover are going to be available shortly after the Audible edition is going to be available. I have not had time to start recording that. I am going to be reading that one myself though. Let me play a commercial for the new book, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand today.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script, reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life? This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in R.P. Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Pre-order your Kindle copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm now for only 99 cents. After September 14th, when the paperback and hardcover editions are released, the price will go up. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be. Pre-order the Kindle edition now on Amazon for only 99 cents until September 14th.
All right. So the next concept from Dr. Wayne Dyer is there are no justified resentments. No justified resentments. And I think I heard this from MLD, but I think it's a really popular term. But one of the things is he said once was when you're holding on to resentment to somebody, like someone wronged you, and you're holding on to that resentment, it's like drinking poison and then hoping that person dies. Because all that resentment actually impacts your body physically, right? All that resentment starts knotting up your stomach. You start getting hypertension. All that kind of stuff really impacts you physiologically. Okay. It doesn't really serve you. And honestly, doesn't really impact them, especially if they don't know. If you're resenting them and they don't know, like it's not hurting them at all, But if you embrace the concept that there's no justified resentments, you have freedom from the past. Right? Holding on to resentments weakens a man's frame by keeping him stuck in negative emotions. And I often say this on the show, right? But you can't change the past. You can't. It's impossible. You don't have a flux capacitor. You don't have a DeLorean. You can't go back to 1955 and make sure that, your dad kisses your mom at the under the sea dance. Okay. You can't do that. You can't change the past. So holding on to those past resentments, it doesn't serve you. All it does is cause depression a lot of the times, right? And then you end up developing an emotional dependency. But if you have emotional independence, you can let go of grudges, which will free you to focus on the present instead of past hurts, right? How do I move forward from this? You're not thinking about how do I move forward when you're constantly thinking about when you're still stuck living in the past. Oh, brother CW with a $5 super chat. He says, you can never have too much booty, stiffen that frame, and always be leveling up, gents. Yes. And because he's a beer club member and a YouTube member, he immediately gets the $20 booty shake.
Super chat, we see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Groovy beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. All right. Oh, if there are no justified resentments, you have mental clarity. A mind free of resentment has more mental space for productive thoughts and decisions, right? You don't have that ruminating brain where you're thinking about all sorts of stuff that's just not serving you. You can actually think about productive things and think of solutions to problems. And I had a call yesterday with the team that I manage, and I was like, we need to come up with some solutions to some things that we're having, right? And this one guy's just complaining about whatever. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the complaints. All I want to hear is solutions, man. Thinking about like all the ways that these guys did what they did. Like we can't fix them. We can fix what we do. Let's hear some solutions here. It gives you strength through forgiveness, right? Forgiving others strengthens a man's emotional resilience and removes emotional baggage. Man, if you can forgive people for their wrongdoings, man, it's a tremendous, like, just weight off your shoulders. Have you ever done that? Where someone like really wronged you in the past and maybe you don't talk to them again, right? Maybe you don't like call them up and actually say, hey, I forgive you. Because that's kind of a dick move if you think about it, right? Like, especially if they don't even realize that they wronged you, but you call them up, hey, just want to let you know, I forgive you. You don't necessarily need to do that, but you can just mentally in your mind go, you know what? I'm letting this go. I forgive them, right? That sort of thing removes that emotional burden off you and you can move forward easier, right? So a lot of you guys that are divorced, right? And you're still holding on that resentment and you watch a lot of black pill videos about how women ain't shit and you think about how your ex-wife is such a bitch. You got to learn to, just forgive her, man. She's someone else's problem now. She's not your problem. You got to stop dwelling on it. Just let it go. Move forward, man. Find someone better, And then you have unshakable calmness, right? By refusing to harbor resentments, a man becomes less reactive and more composed. And that's largely what we're trying to do when we're strengthening our frame, right? Be less emotionally reactive and be more rationally responsive to things. They say that, communication is the key to relationships. That's not true. The real key to a healthy relationship is genuine desire and keeping that attraction and genuine desire, right? That's the real key. However, effective communication strategies are helpful. And I think the best communication model I've ever seen is Paul Benjamin's Luca model, right? If you learn the Luca model in communication and you can sit there and focus on Luca while you're talking to your girl, it keeps you from being, literally keeps you from being emotionally reactive to anything she says because you're focused on listening, understanding, right? clarification, and then coming up with an action plan, right? Or I guess C is clarity. It's not, yeah. So listen, understand, clarity, action. So when you're listening, you're trying to be an active listener and trying to understand where she's coming from, right? She might be wrong, but that's okay. You're not trying to correct her or anything. You're just understanding what she's saying. And then you ask clarifying questions, right? Let me understand where you're coming from. You're saying this, this, and this. Do I have that correct? Am I understanding this properly? Right? That keeps her, actually will control the situation. You're actually communicating from a position of leadership, and you're going to she's going to calm down, right? You know how, like, guys, you just tell your girl to calm down. That always works, right? It never works. You can't tell her to calm down. Okay. But if you listen, you understand, you ask clarifying question. Am I understanding right? This is what you're saying. Am I understanding this correctly? She'll calm down because she'll be like, oh, he's actually listening. Right. Corey Wayne says, when a woman feels heard and understood, that's when the legs open, So if you do that, and then you say, okay, so what, from my understanding, this, and this, I think the best course of action is to do this. Let's go with this course of action. Everything will be squashed. Everything will be squashed, right? Because you are not being reactive and you're responding from a position of rationality, right? Frame. Don't die with the music still in you. Bless you. I don't know if you guys can hear my puppies sneezing back there. Are you dying? What is your problem? She's supposed to be a professional podcaster, folks, but she's getting old now. So the next principle from Dr. Wayne Dyer is don't die with the music still in you. Okay. Now, this is really about your mission, right? Corey Wayne talks about it in How to Be a 3% Man, but you have to be a man of purpose. You have to be a man on a mission. And it turns out a guy who has a mission in life has, it's a lot of guys think this is work, right? This is my career. It's not necessarily your career. Okay. I would say your mission or purpose is something you would do for free. Podcasting, I've been doing free for a long fucking time. Right. I love this stuff. I'll do this forever. Right. But this has become my purpose, helping men. Right. And now I'm trying to sort of navigate the podcast in a way where I can help men have healthy relationships and keep those healthy relationships. And that's my purpose. I just want to help men, I want to help men level up and be better with women. That's been my purpose for years now. Right. The message is slightly more relationship driven now, but it's still the same, game's game. I keep telling the guys in the beer club that game's game. But that's my music, right? I don't want to die and not be able to give the world my ultimate gift, right? Which is to help men. Okay. So you want to live authentically. A man must pursue his passions and express his true self to feel fulfilled and centered. Okay. And a lot of times a part of the betatization process, which, if you get my ebook, if you join the email list and get the ebook, women will derail your fucking purpose if you let them. Right. And they don't even know they're fucking doing it. They don't even know you're doing it. So you can't let them. And the thing is, the more you set boundaries, the more you work on your purpose, the more you don't let them move you off your purpose, the more attracted they are to you. Right. They're like, oh shit, this is a guy on a mission here. And women love ambitious men. Right. If you are a man on a mission, that ambition to do whatever it is you're doing, it doesn't necessarily have to be about money, but that drive and ambition, women are naturally attracted to it. They're like, oh shit, this guy's going to do something. This guy's going to do something special, and they want to join your lifestyle. They want to hitch their cart to your wagon, right? Or hitch their wagon to you as the fucking workhorse, You got to have a purpose-driven life, right? Finding and pursuing a purpose gives a man strong mental foundation. If you know what you're doing, it's hard to shake you from it, right? But if you have no direction in life, you're easily fucking manipulated and moved around, you know? So what do they say all the time? If you don't, a man who doesn't stand for something will fall for anything. Like the same kind of thing, you know? You gotta be, have some kind of focus in your life, something that you're working towards. Confidence and expression. When a man lives in alignment with his true desires, he projects confidence and assurance, right? I know where I'm fucking going. I'm going this way. You're either coming with me or you're being left behind, you know? And then you have empowerment through action, right? Taking consistent action on dreams strengthens a sense of control over his life, you know? So it's really good to have goals. Really good to have goals. All right, guys. Some of the guys here are in my beer club. I highly recommend you join the beer club. Beer.comeonmanpod.com. It's a good group of dudes. You'll actually get more value out of it than being a YouTube member. Although I am trying to provide lots of value for YouTube members. YouTube members get a free audiobook of the Book of Puck, narrated by Jack Napier, by the way. And then we also have call-in streams now on Tuesdays. But Beer Club members, you get direct access to me over a group chat. And there's about 50 guys in there right now, and they're constantly in there. They're swapping notes. They're taking actions to improve their lives. We have 3 guys in there that have lost considerable amounts of weight. One guy has cured himself from type 2 diabetes. In fact, he joined me on the members only stream this last Tuesday, and we were chatting it up because we only have 11 members right now, right? So there's not a lot of people that can call in for that yet. We did have one of the members call in, and he had a more of a life coaching type question, which is fine. That's what it's for. It's for, all kinds of questions. But both those guys are in Beer Club, and they're in the chat and they're swapping notes. And a lot of the guys have paired up in the group, and they're having, they've made accountability partnerships, and they're doing all sorts of great stuff in the group. And then we get together once or twice a month and just shoot the shit like guys. A lot of guys don't have an outlet. They don't have a tribe. They don't have a brotherhood they can bring their problems to. The Beer Club is for that, right? And it's only $10 a month. Okay. So check that out. beer.comeonmanpod.com. The next concept here is embracing silence. A big problem with guys who go through a breakup or a divorce is they can't be alone. They can't fucking be alone. And so they immediately jump into another relationship. They settle for the first girl that's somewhat nice to them and touches their dick. They overlook all their red flags because they don't want to be alone. They can't stand the silence. The silence is deafening. But you need to learn how to embrace the silence, right? Because if you embrace the silence, you'll have more inner peace. Silence will allow a man to connect to his inner self, strengthening his mental calm and clarity. It'll also give you some emotional control, which we've talked about, but it gives you space to process emotions before reacting, leading to a better emotional regulation. A lot of times when you're in a conversation with somebody and they're arguing with you, you're not listening to what they're saying, and you're just thinking of the next thing you're going to say. And a lot of times that just leads to arguments, right? Because no one's listening to each other. They're all just thinking about how they're going to respond or react. But if you embrace the silence, if they say something and you just take a minute to think about what your response is going to be, you're going to probably have a more healthier response. So it's okay to take a pause and think a little bit. Embrace that awkward silence when you're just trying to process what they're saying, just think about that for a minute. That's okay. It'll give you a chance for emotional control. A good tip that my friend Nuclear Caudillo says is the 3-second rule. When you're in an argument, take 3 seconds, 3 full seconds, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000 before responding, because your initial gut instinct is to just lash out sometimes. And if you just take those 3 seconds, you'll go, wait, don't do that. Don't do that. That's just going to throw gasoline on the fire. Let's respond to this constructively. Right? You'll have enhanced presence by embracing quiet. A man becomes more present, grounded, and attuned to his environment. You have power in non-reaction, right? Silence can be a powerful response, giving a man control over potentially volatile situations, right? Same thing, 3-second rule. Just take a minute. Just take a minute. Embrace the silence. Don't immediately say something. Just think about that for a second, right? And then you have mental rejuvenation, right? Silence allows a man to reset and recharge his mind, keeping his frame unshakable. A lot of guys will take that to the extreme, though, right? They will take the embrace the silence thing to the extreme, and they will never talk about their shit, right? And I strongly believe your girl's not the right outlet for that, right? Your girl is not the right outlet to talk about your shit, because women don't give a fuck about your struggles, okay? They wait at the finish line, fuck the winner. Shout out to Rich Cooper, right? And I think Rollo might have said that first. He might have said that first. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Rich is well known for that. Well, it's true, though. Like, women really, like, they might want to care, and they may even think they care, right? Bless their hearts, but their evolutionary psychology won't let them care. Okay, they want you to be their rock. It doesn't work the other way around. Your girl can't be your rock. If your girl's your rock, you're acting like a woman. Okay, but a lot of guys will try to be the lone wolf sigma male type guy, and they'll bottle shit up. That causes ruminating brain, depression, and anxiety. Okay, you do have to have an outlet for that kind of stuff. Gym's a good place for it, right? Go take it out on a punching bag if you're angry or whatever. That's great too. But a good group of dudes like the beer club, right? Beer club is a great place, an outlet for that kind of thing. Okay, so don't take it to the extreme. The next principle is give up your personal history, right? This is good too, right? This goes back to, you can't change the past. Okay, you can only move forward. Okay, so you have freedom from labels. A man who releases his past is no longer defined by old mistakes, traumas, or successes. Okay. I personally like to embrace the mental model of there's no such thing as winners and losers. There's only winning and learning. Okay. Now, I put out a video saying that the other day, and then I got a bunch of YouTube trolls going, oh, well, I learned my dog yesterday. Right? Like their dog ran away is what they're trying to say is, I learned my dog yesterday. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, there's a lot of spurgs out there too. The spurgs and trolls that take things too literally, right? Let's say you did lose your dog yesterday, like your dog ran away. What's the learning experience for that? Maybe I need a fence. Maybe I need a fence around my house if I'm going to have a fucking dog. Right? There's a lesson to be learned there. Yes? Okay. Stop being an artard, okay? Embracing change. By letting go of history, a man opens himself for growth and reinvention, okay? A lot of guys, they get zeroed out from divorce or breakups. It's like, maybe you can self-reflect on what you could have done better, okay? Because you can't change what she did, right? But if you reflect back on that relationship and you look at all the things that you could have done better, well, now that's a learning experience that you can apply in a new relationship and possibly have better success in that next relationship. Yeah. Focusing on the present, right? Letting go of the past stories allows a man to live fully in the now, where he can shape his frame. The thing is, your future isn't created in the future. Your future is created by your actions now. So you have to have a mindset for the present moment, because that's all that it really exists, right? The future doesn't really exist. It's in your mind. Your past is in your mind. It's gone. You can't change it. All you have is right now, and your actions right now will determine your future results, right? Giving up your personal history allows you to break cycles, right? Releasing the past enables a man to break free of limiting beliefs and behaviors. If you think back on your past and all of your past behaviors and limiting beliefs, and you realize like your current results, right? If you look at how you ended up where you are now, and you think back on that path that led you there, that will help you identify some of those limiting beliefs and cycles and allow you to make positive changes, right? One one of the things that I continue to do to this day is I listen to Corey Wayne's book at least once a year. And so I've listened to it like 21 times now. And he always has in his first like introduction or first chapter, he has a list of questions like, has this ever happened to you? Has this ever happened to you? Every time I listen to that, I go, yep, indeed. But it makes me reflect on what led to those things. So I know not to ever make those mistakes again, so you can break those cycles. And then you have an unburdened identity, right? Without the weight of history, a man can form a stronger, more flexible mental identity. A lot of Thor's first book, A Dominant Masculine Presence, it's all about like all the 7 P's, the 7 P's of a dominant masculine presence, that all leads to form an identity of having a dominant masculine presence, So this book series that we're all doing, right? The book that's coming out on the 14th is a part of the book series based on that first book. They're all going to be on the 7 P's to help men get really concrete ideas of the principles that he talks about, and will help men develop a more dominant masculine identity, right? If you ever read the book Boy Crisis by Warren Farrell, it's a good book. It really identifies the problem with the lack of masculinity in our culture because of the feminist movement and all that kind of stuff, the gynocentric social order. But his prescriptions in that book are trashed, right? It's like double down on the stuff that got us here. Terrible fucking idea, right? Thor's book identifies the problem very well too and gives us positive solutions on how to make men more masculine, right? The problem with the lack of masculinity is to teach men to be more masculine again, not to teach guys to be better bitches, right? So anyway, the book series is going to help men on that cycle. Like, we're going to change the fucking world with this. The 7th principle here, man, it's going to be a long episode. I'm going to have to try to rush through these ones here because my housekeeper's coming. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it, right? I think Einstein said that first, right? You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So growth through new perspectives. A man must evolve his thinking to overcome challenges rather than staying stuck in old patterns. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. A lot of guys, so a lot of my target demographic now are guys who are in relationships that are, probably on their way towards divorce, right? The sex is gone, but they still love their wives, right? They still love their wives, but for whatever reason, she hasn't touched them in years. It's now sex is an obligation. Like they're trying their best and nothing works, and they're at their wits' end, and they're thinking like, oh, I'm probably gonna have to divorce her, right? Well, the thing is, you can't solve the problem with the same mind that creates it. That means that, yeah, you could divorce her, right? And then you'll end up on the dating circuit. You're going to fucking struggle on the dating circuit because you've typically what ends a relationship is you've gone through the betaization process. Now you've lost all your attractiveness. Now you're being an unattractive person. You're going to go into the dating circuit with not understanding attraction at all. You're going to repel women. And then you might get a girl who's at her wit's end because she's fat or whatever, and she can't get a guy, so she's going to settle with you. And then you're going to do the same shit that you did in your last relationship, and that's going to fucking fail too, right? So you can't solve the problem by just dumping her and going on to the next chick. That doesn't work. That doesn't necessarily work. You got to figure out what fucking caused this, right? What could I do better? Yeah, your wife might be a shitty person. Sure. She might be a shitty wife. That's possible. Okay. But I guarantee you ain't fucking perfect, sir. I guarantee. And then some guy's going to be like, oh, yeah, this man got to do better. Is that what it is? Do you not think that you could do better? I mean, everybody could do better. You know, it's such a closed mindset. So you got to change your perspective. Okay. If that failed, there's something's got to change. Something, and you can only control what you can only control yourself, right? So you can only control the controllables. You got to think it from a different point of view, right? How that didn't work clearly. So doing more of that's not going to work again, right? It's the definition of insanity. You got to have a mental adaptability. He must constantly seek fresh perspectives to stay ahead in both life and relationships. You know, yeah, you got to think outside the box, right? If you're always tunnel vision with the way you do things, like, and things aren't working for you, you're just going to get more of the same, right? So you got to be able to have mental adaptability. Creative problem solving, new approaches and flexible thinking are essential for solving complex problems. You know, that's probably going to be my next book in Thor's series, because one of the dominant masculine presence skills is problem solving, the ability to problem solve. And I've been working in IT for 20 years now, and I'm a pretty fucking good troubleshooter. I know how to solve problems, and it's good. A lot of people have no clue. They have no clue how to troubleshoot and solve problems, you know. But big key in problem solving is trying shit, right? And a lot of guys won't try shit. They'll be like, that won't work, and they just will dismiss something before even trying it. Well, sometimes, fuck it, might work. Right? That's creative problem solving. You got to embrace change, right? This is a kind of a theme in here. I think we've mentioned change before, but you must be willing to let go of rigid thoughts and adapt, which strengthens a mental frame, right? You know, the military, they always say, like, adapt, survive, and overcome, that kind of thing. And then you got to have an evolving identity, right? As your mindset grows, so does your capacity to solve problems and maintain emotional balance. The next principle is treat yourself as if you were already what you want to become. Treat yourself as if you were already what you want to become. This is sort of like the fake it till you make it type thing, right? The thing is about fake it till you make it is the more you act like the way you want to be, is the more it creates the habit. And our habits is really what what paradigms are, right? It's just a series of habits that we do. And those habits we do without any conscious thought. And the more you can develop that muscle memory, the more you actually become the person that you're trying to be. You see what I'm saying? So when you treat yourself, if you are already what you want to become, you embody that confidence, right? By acting as though you are already the man you want to be, you build the habits and mindset that align with that vision. Mental visualization. So consistently imagining a man's future strengthens his mental resilience and focus. And also, and I say this a lot, especially on Woo Woo Wednesdays, right? But the more you visualize things like your future results, it cements that in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, especially if you visualize it as if it's already happened, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and what you're imagining. So if it believes this is real because you're visualizing it vividly, it's going to make it real. Your subconscious mind is going to grind away and try to make it real. And once it latches onto this idea and you become emotionally involved with this idea, your subconscious mind is going to give you ideas and shit like that, right? Give you you're going to get these like epiphanies, like, oh, maybe I should do this thing. Maybe I should read this book, you know, whatever. It's going to lead you down that path and you're going to achieve your goals. Okay. It's not fucking magic. Paul, this isn't Woo Woo Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. Positive reinforcement, right? Treating yourself with respect and care reinforces the belief that you're capable and worthy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Attraction of success, right? This principle aligns with the law of attraction. Paul, this isn't Woo Woo Wednesday. I know, but it's going to draw the desired outcomes through belief and behavior, right? It's not woo woo really. It's simple psychology. and aligned actions, right? Your thoughts, feelings, and actions will naturally align with the identity that you wish to embody, which will lead to a stronger emotional stability. Now, this one is pretty woo-woo. This next one, the 9th principle, is treasure your divinity. Okay. So the concept that if you believe this, that you were built from the creator, then you have the essence of the creator within you. Okay. If you don't believe that, that's fine. Just think of your higher consciousness. Okay. Think of it from a mind standpoint. Okay. But you have, you'll have inner strength, right? Recognizing your connection to a higher power or universal truth gives you a sense of purpose and strength. Okay. That's why, like, if you are a religious person, like sometimes like I crap on the Christians. If you have a real strong faith and you really believe in God and Jesus and that's great. Like, that's awesome. That could actually help you almost like with a third party observer effect where you're doing things because you think God's helping you. Well, if that helps you, that's fucking awesome. Like, keep doing that. Okay. It'll give you a sense of purpose and strength, right? Like, was it Psalm? Is it 23 or 24? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because thou art with me, right? If you believe that God's with you, you're going to have more confidence. Okay. Unshakable confidence. A man who sees himself as divine has a deep well of self-worth that cannot be shaken easily, right? You'll have respect for self and others. So this principle instills a strong moral compass and a sense of value, elevating his relationships and interactions. That concept comes from the idea that we're all one, right? We're all part of this one universe. And if you think about it from that standpoint, like the quantum field theory, we're all connected, right? If you want to take religion out of it and go into quantum physics, technically we're all connected through the quantum field, right? So then if you realize we're all connected, then you might cultivate an idea of respect for yourself and others, right? You'll have more empathy for the other person because you're going to be like, you know what? That's me too. You know what? You're me too, right? Paul, that's weird. That's weird. I'm an individual. When I was in the Navy, especially at boot camp, one of the things that they're trying to do is beat the idea of individuality out of you and instill the concept of teamwork. So in the Navy, when you're doing something for your own benefit and not the benefit of the team, they're like, oh, like your RDCs will come up to you and they'll be like, oh, what do we have here? We have ourselves an individual, right? Emotional control. Man, it's like a theme here. Understanding a man's divinity helps him stay calm and centered even when faced with challenges, right? I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Connection to a greater purpose, seeing himself as a part of something larger provides a man grounding and fortifies his mental frame. And then finally, the last principle here. Wisdom is avoiding all thoughts which weaken you. Okay. This will give you mental discipline. A strong man actively avoids thoughts that undermine his confidence and emotional strength. One thing I cut out from my fucking life years ago was the news, right? Some people, they like to watch trash TV. They like to watch the news. They like to watch all sorts of negative shit. And all that stuff fucks with your head in a negative way. But the news especially, because the news is all doom and gloom, fear, all that kind of stuff weakens your frame mentally, right? My mom and dad watch the news like crack addicts, right? A lot of people do. And especially in an election cycle, right? This is an election year. People are focused on politics. Politics is toxic as fuck, right? If you're focused on toxic politics and stuff like that on a daily basis, all it's doing is fucking with your head, okay? So what I recommend is you already know who you're going to vote for. You already fucking know, okay? You already know. There's no need to watch the fucking debates. Have any of you ever, in the history of fucking ever, watched a presidential debate and gone, Yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy. Oh, no, that person said something smart. I'm going to vote for this guy now. Like almost none of you have. You guys go in there, you cheerlead your fucking candidate. You think your candidate owned the other candidate. And then you're still going to vote for who you're going to vote for anyway. It doesn't change anything. It changes fuck all. So why focus on it? Okay. You already know who you're going to vote for. Just vote for that person and stop paying attention to the fucking news and the scandal rags and the mudslinging. Okay. It's fucking toxic. Okay. Avoid thoughts that weaken you. Those thoughts weaken you. Okay. Self-focus. A man focuses only on empowering thoughts, which leads to a more positive and resilient mindset. The more you focus on the positive, the more positive outcomes you're going to have. Okay. You're going to have certainly the less, I thought I closed Outlook. Anyway, the more you focus on the positive, the more mentally healthy you're going to be, right? The more positively things are going to show up for you in life. It's not magic. It's just that you're thinking about things differently, right? You're going to have emotional mastery. By refusing to indulge in weakening thoughts, you're going to be able to control your emotional state better. Okay. And then you're going to have a more resilient self-image, right? And this principle helps maintain a high level of self-respect and belief in your abilities. The more you believe in that kind of stuff yourself, the more you're going to project that outwardly, and people are going to see that in you too. Okay. And then finally, we have, you're going to have better empowered decision-making, right? With a clear mind, free from negative influences, you're going to be able to make stronger, more confident decisions, right? All right. We're a little bit over today. That's all I got, guys. I'm not sure who's hosting Rule Zero tomorrow. And the Dragon Ship, I think Laurent might host, but I don't know what he's going to talk about if he does host. Hopefully he has a better internet connection, because God bless that man. He volunteered to host a couple of weeks ago, but he was at a resort and he had a shitty internet service. I was like you can't host if your internet's shitty, bro. Anyway, I think he might be hosting. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm not going to be on either show tomorrow. Nurse Chick and I are planning on riding our motorcycles to Salt Lake City to see some wrestling. So tune in Monday, because we're going to continue with the Book of Puck series for Mating Monday. We're going to be doing chapters 44, 45, and 46 in the paperback, which are on Good Girls Do Cheat, Attention Hewers, and Habit is All. That last chapter, Habit is All, that's a lot of what we're trying to do in this space. We're trying to develop good habits, because if we have good habits, we can do them without any conscious thought. Right? We do it without even thinking. We call it muscle memory, right? We want to develop good, attractive habits. So tune into that. Those are going to be really interesting chapters. Let's see here. No more. I don't see any more super chats. So guys, like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you for everybody that sounded off in the live chat this morning. I appreciate you guys. I like interacting with you guys. That's one of the reasons why I've moved to total live streams and not doing the pre-records, because I like interacting with you guys. Thanks for the super chats, guys. We did get a couple of them today. I appreciate that. Thanks for all you guys that are YouTube members. That's really supporting the show now. If you guys aren't a member yet, what are you waiting for, right? You get a free audiobook version of the Book of Puck. You guys get access to the Tuesday call-in streams. And then I'm giving everybody shout outs. And then, and if you're a Beer Club member and a YouTube member or a Spotify subscriber, you guys, if you guys send any kind of super chat, it could be $1 super chat, you immediately get the $20 super chat booty shaking video for your troubles. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Do get on the email list if you haven't yet, because you can get the new ebook, She's Made You Weak. It runs you through the betatization process and tells you how to prevent that. Okay. And then speaking of books, I have Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 still available on Amazon and paperback and hardcover and Kindle. And then you can get it on Audible too. Use your next Audible credit on that. Or if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, use your next credit on that. And then speaking of Kindle, the new book that drops on the 14th, The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm. You can pre-order it now on Kindle for only 99 cents. Get in the Beer Club, beer.comeonmanpod.com. we will straighten you out in there, man. These guys are in there leveling up. It's phenomenal to watch. That's all I got. We will see you guys on Monday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.